same barbecue is coming from the fact that this Jimmy Cherizier uses brutal force to try and go over the dissent of other people who are opposing him. The method that he used to kill people is to burn them. Wow. And he burns them inside the house. You are locked inside the house, you get burned. That is what he did in Haiti, where he killed 71 people by dismembering and also burning them. Where do they get the money? Because if you're running a gang, you have to get money. They get money through extortion, through kidnapping. You kidnap a person who is from a rich family, you ask for money from their family, they send you the money. There are a few white people there, French people, who get kidnapped, and then they ask for ransom, and then they release the person. You can even be kidnapped thrice. The worst worry that can come out of this is these gangs can now decide to work together. Just as the international community has decided to work together, the gangs can also put their differences aside and say, let us work together so that we can fight these people who have come to sort of keep peace.
Do you think that our Kenya police are in danger right now in Haiti because it's a new terrain? Do you think are they safe? Why did the President of the Republic of Kenya do not take the military? He decided to take the Kenya police. Why? Hello guys, welcome to my YouTube channel. Thank you so much for the support. Thank you so much for the love. Nyinyi watu true sana. On today's story, pambie kitu.
Hello guys, tumesikia story mingi sana about Haiti. Na leo tuko hapa pia kuongelea about 1, 2 or 3 things about Haiti. Tujue nini ilileta hii vita ya Haiti and what is going on in Haiti right now as our forces are in Haiti.
True. Hiyo ni kitu ya maana sana because Kenya tunafanya tuongelee story, we talk about Haiti, it's because our Kenyan police, they are in Haiti.
Yes.
So we want to talk about why Kenya. Why Kenya? Mbona Kenya ndio wako Haiti? Before tuendelee, Boni, tell us something about Haiti. What is happening in Haiti?
Haiti, if you want to understand what is happening in Haiti, you have to go back in history. When Papa Doc Duvalier was the president there, it's about 50s or 60s, 1950s or 60s there. So that guy was a dictator, and he introduced a few people who were criminals and gave them guns and said they would defend him in case of anything, because Haiti was bubbly. It was a country that was prone to a lot of conflict and coups. So he brought in these people called the Tonton Makut. So these Tonton Makut, yes, they were criminals from prison as well as just ruthless people around. Gave them guns to defend him. Now, that introduction of civilians who were criminals with arms to defend the government went on. From Duvalier came to his son called Baby Doc. He was Papa Doc, was nicknamed Baby Doc. He also went through with the Tonton Makut, incorporated them in leadership. So Haiti ikaendelea hivyo ikazoea. The country became used to these people having guns, civilians, and roaming around to defend the so-called government. And if you look at it critically, you'll find that these arms or these gangs now were incorporated into political parties in Haiti. And now you had a society that was just getting used to some kind of anarchy, where if you don't go by what this political party says, then an armed group will come and try to defend the government or the opposition or etc. So that is where we are right now. But this recent uprising in Haiti is caused by after the assassination of Jovenel Moïse, who was the president of Haiti, the last president of Haiti. There has never been any other president. Now, Jovenel...
Who assassinated Jovenel Moïse?
Now, that is the contentious issue. Because one of the gangs, the opposition also had a gang. The government had
so
the
it
police.
Was just fighting. They were fighting against each other.
Yes. Even Jovenel Moïse himself could be implicated in this, because he himself also had the police governing him, and also the gangs. And that is where now Jimmy Cherizie, aka Barbecue, comes in the picture. Barbecue, when Juvenile Moise was the president, Barbecue was a police officer. Then he turned to be a gang leader, but still supporting Juvenile Moise. But now, after the assassination of Juvenile Moise, the president, Barbecue came out and said, you guys, you are disrupting the peace of Haiti. And now the opposition gang and Barbecue, the opposition is called GPEP. Barbecue's gang is called G9, Family plus Allies. So they came into a conflict. There are over 200 gangs in Haiti. Yeah.
Can you tell us something about this Barbecue?
Barbecue. Barbecue was a police officer and then turned to be a gang leader. Of course, now he's using the knowledge that he had from the police service to lead this gang. As well as this name Barbecue, his original name or ID name is Jimmy Cherizie. But the name Barbecue has some disputes. One, yeye anasema the name came about from his mother, who used to cook chicken in the streets, and she used to roast chicken. So people would name him Barbecue. But as many analysts will say, and as people also in Haiti will say, the name Barbecue is coming from the fact that this Jimmy Cherizie uses brutal force to try and go over the dissent of other people who are opposing him. The method that he used to kill people is to burn them. Wow. And he burns them inside the house. You are locked inside the house, you get burned. That is what he did in Haiti, where he killed 71 people by dismembering and also burning them. So that is why he is called Barbecue, because barbecue is roasting meat. But now in this case, sad enough, barbecue is being used for this person who goes on to burn people. So that is why it's called barbecue.
And when we are talking about this barbecue, do you think that our Kenya police are in danger right now in Haiti because it's a new terrain? Do you think are they safe there in Haiti? Because this barbecue, the way you have talked about it, this is a trained soldier. This is someone that knows the terrain so well. Yes. Where did this guy even got the muscle to control the people in Haiti? How? The
social fabric of Haiti has broken, first of all. So there is no governing, there is no authority, there is nothing. It's just a lawless country because it doesn't have a military force. Just like in Kenya, the other week, where the police were overpowered, we called in the military. The military is the last defense. So Haiti doesn't have a military. It has not had a military since 1999 or something. Because the country was used to counter coups and coups from the military. So they say, to hell with the military. Let us do without a military. So they had only the police. And now these are the police who are now overpowered by these forces. I'm not saying that the police are very weak. They still control a larger part of the Port-au-Prince, but Barbecue and the GPEP also control quite a big chunk of Port-au-Prince. So if you're looking in a society where you don't have authority, there cannot be a vacuum. Someone has to fill that vacuum. And now that is why Jimmy Cherizie came in to try and fill that vacuum by coalescing a few gangs and being the gang leader, being the most feared person, try to take on resources and everything. So where do they get the money? Because if you're running a gang, you have to get money. They get money through extortion, through kidnapping. You kidnap a person who is from a rich family, you ask for money from their family, they send you the money. There are a few white people there, French people, who get kidnapped, and then they ask for ransom, and then they release the person. You can even be kidnapped thrice.
So this is how this guy gets money.
That is how they get money, as well as a few, of course, they must be doing taxes in the areas that they control. You give them something for protection, and then, so that is how they get money to continue their business. And where do they get their arms? From the United States, but not legally, but through illegal means as well. You can trade in illegally through the the porous borders and everything. So that is where they get their arms.
Okay, what will happen? What will happen? You know very well that our Kenyan soldiers, they are there.
Yes.
What will happen if this guy is being brought down? What will really happen? Will the conflict still continue? Or what will really happen?
Haiti has a lot of work to do. One, yes, there is the problem of armed gangs and everything. But once you solve that problem of armed gangs, you still have a society to build. And this is a society that, as I said, from the 60s and 50s, they are used to people having arms. So it is going to be a very different conversation because, one, you'll still have to give jobs to these jobless young people. If they don't have jobs, then they will result to gang behavior at the end of the day. So, yes, you need to get the arms out of the civilians. That is one. For some period of time, you'll have peace. And you'll have peace that allows you to now do something better as soon as possible so that they don't result back to being gangs. So it is a whole process. But the first phase of the process is to eliminate these gangs. The worst worry that can come out of this is these gangs can now decide to work together. Just as the international community has decided to work together, the gangs can also put their differences aside and say, let us work together so that we can fight these people who have come to sort of keep peace. But then again, there are gangs that are fighting even these gangs that are still there. So there are gangs that are against barbecue. There are gangs that are saying, we are a gang, but we want to help the police, you know. We are not in the police force, but we want to work with the police to eliminate this gang so that you can live in peace. So it is a whole different disintegrated fabric that you find there in Haiti.
Okay, as we finish, everyone, your opinions, just about your opinion. Everyone in Kenya, they are asking themselves, why did the President of the Republic of Kenya do not take the military? He decided to take the Kenya police. Why?
Okay, I'll answer even the previous one that you asked. Why Kenya and why the police? Yeah. Why Kenya? We have had 2 UN missions in Haiti that have failed. And people keep asking, if these 2 failed, if the United States itself, when they had failed, what makes Kenya so special? One is because these 2 United Nations missions had their own challenges. First of all, time. Time is a very important factor. When was this and why was this happening? When you take a UN mission to a particular country, we will the nationals will like to associate themselves with these people that you sent. So when you take white people to keep peace in an African country, it is a bit challenging, more so in a country that has trauma of being oppressed by white people. So that was one challenge that Kenya is trying to solve by sending Africans to solve African problem. It's sort of a Pan-African way, because where Haiti is, it's almost, you can say, the Western nations are giving up on this country. And they were not really concerned about what is happening there, while people were being killed, people were being kidnapped, children were being killed, etc. So it was important for the UN to consider all the failures that have been happening, as well as there was a very big cholera outbreak in Haiti brought by the UN mission, the last UN mission that killed a lot of people in Haiti. So they really don't want this. But at the same time, when you go to Haiti, and because we've seen a few people being interviewed, they say they want help, you know. They want help to deal with these gangs. So it was important to bring in an African country that has the aura of a brother's keeper, so that we can see something different, if something different will really work. So why the police? This is an internal issue. Haiti is not in war with Kenya. This is an internal issue of just keeping the society safe. The military is not trained to go and police, you know. So when you send the military to maintain law and order, it is not what they go to the military to do. The military goes to the military school to fight an enemy who is an aggressor against the nation. So when they go to police, when they go to missions, the military, they engage in brutal war. But these are police officers. They engage in keeping law and order and working with the civilians to build a nation. So that is why it is very important for you to send the police instead of the army in this situation.
Oh, now people have understood what is happening. As you are finishing,
Yes.
can you give the last advice to the police that are in Haiti? What advice can you tell them?
I will give advice to them and also to Kenyans.
Yeah.
One, to them, we are with you, we are supporting you, and you are raising our flag high, because this is our country you're taking to. Internationally, we are being recognized as a country that is peaceful and wants peace, as well as when you alighted from that KQ plane, the first thing they did is to raise our flag very high. And that was a very good symbol that our policemen and women are doing in Haiti. So all prayers, all support, all moral support, personally from me, I give them, and I pray for them that they be successful and return safely. And to Kenyans, I would just like to urge Kenyans to support our men and women in uniform. Regardless of whichever side of the political divide that you are in, when our forces go outside this country, they rely on our moral support to support them so that they can win. These men and women have families here in this country. When people start going out there and saying that they wish them bad, or they start spewing unverified information about their condition there, you can imagine what these families are going through.
True.
You know? So we don't need to give these families a lot of trauma, a lot of worry and etc. Let us support them. By supporting them, we are supporting Kenya. And I'm sure with our moral support, these people will be victorious and they'll come back safely, and Kenya's flag will be raised even higher.
Okay, for me, I pray for them, for everything to go right. Until next time, tunasemaga game over.
Yeah.